What's going on here? Yeah, it is going on. It's going on live at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman. Early Thursday morning, ultra declassified kayfabe transmission, wiki leaked. Oh, I can hear myself. You better shut up, infidel. As we get to it, because back in the day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore, but some days I sit and wish I was a kid again, infidels, because this stuff is just dragging us down, but we got all the headlines to get through. We'll see. It's going to be a sunny day here at hackerhamin.podbean.com. Yallah! Yeah, getting that first shot of coffee rolling through me. Was up late painting. Another insomniac night, and now we're back at it. We'll see if we crash out this weekend or not, but he's well rested. He's out of the oxygen chamber. He's already been in the sauna. He did 55 laps this morning right out of the gate in the pool. He's already done a Spartan 300 set. He stretched his quads. He's in downward dog coming up to Cobra right now to go to. No, it's the same Mike from last night, but he's back. It's Big Stevie Cool. How's it going, brother?
I got the RE20 on the wish list up on, not the wish list where you buy it, the wish list where I buy it. Gotcha. On Amazon. This is your favorite mic, this LCT4. I got the little ASMR voice right here where I get a little proximity effect. I don't know, man. I'm fucking insane because I don't hear. My wife is like, you sound the same on all these microphones. Stop it. I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I will say this too. You talk about insomnia. I don't know if the audience feels the same way. It's nearly impossible to do a Conspiracy Horseman episode on Wednesday nights, especially when there's so much information from John Prester coming up that we didn't know, and then we're remembering stuff, and then, oh, wait, you go down this rabbit hole for at least a couple hours, which goes by very quick. Then it's 9:15 or whatever when you're walking away from the desk. You can't get to sleep. You have to unwind for at least a couple hours to try to flush it all out and get it out of your system. It's tough, man. It's great. It's like any other show too. It's an adrenaline high. Like if I was doing nighttime shows where I was really creating content, doing stuff and excited afterwards, you never go right to sleep after a wrestling match. You never go right to sleep after a performance.
That buzz is insane. And when you can feel it come down, when you come down maybe an hour and a half later and land on the launching pad again, it's just nuts how that adrenaline, I guess it's your own adrenochrome shot, right? Like of what's going through your body at that time. That's why they're so goddamn hooked on it all the time, I'm sure. But I see the chat room filling up here already. We had a lot of tier 1 gifts, subscriptions gifted last night by.
Tell me what that is. Tell me what that is.
In Twitch, you can subscribe to a channel, like to support them. I think it's set at $4.99, maybe default or what have you. So a lot of people cheer bits. Like J Hal just gave us 1,000 bits. Appreciate you. See X Butcher, JVD, our own Colin Weiss on Black Shreds and Ziggy Balls in there already. But so instead of somebody just cheering bitch, which A. Andreessen did last night, and then he buys subscriptions to give out to people and makes them subscribers so they get the signal flares that goes up early in the morning, so they get any extra content that's going on. So make sure the community is built and everybody has got, you can always watch here for free, but to be a subscriber is just that extra support of Hamin Media Group on our free platform, and we don't ask anybody to do that. That's like the guys who, whether it's Troy or I've seen Hawes do it, and obviously Andres and plenty of people, and I don't want to, year is the year. We'll gift those to the hardcores where we had 50, 55 in the chat steady last night, and it's always the same names as people that are doing it right now. Jesus Christ, there he is, Andreessen back already, man. And, that's just awesome because it's not just about me, it's about the community and everybody staying together. It's really cool to see that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm not up on the Twitch stuff. I know about super chats on YouTube.
Yeah.
Twitch, though, I know they have the bits, obviously. They have the subscriptions. I think there is a wall where the subscribers or the people that are in certain tiers get a certain chat, or they get certain things that they have access to. I'm not quite sure how it works.
To be honest with you, I need to look into it further. We're just doing so much to become a master of the ever-changing platform. I still have these El Plaja awesome conspiracy theory bits that to upload that are custom, and I got to look into how to do that. I'm sure it's super simple. I just fucking, it always keeps, it's like on the list of 60 things, it's always number 61, you know what I mean? And he spent time, so definitely want to thank them for their work. Chris Mason also just hit me up. He's clipping bits from Russo brand. He's going to help us out like Tuttles does, you know, and Kaz does, checking things out from all the shows and sending out some micro content. So appreciate that. It's just everything's clicking, man. Everybody's like, hey, if there's a spot to get in to fit in, I'm already doing this. I might as well help hook it up, and we're all just going to keep pushing forward because even though we might like the numbers we're at now, they're still baby steps. They're baby numbers, you know what I mean, compared to where we could be going and become the truly unstoppable force that takes the underground media and crushes it and becomes the mainstream, you know, the real stream.
Yeah, we're the opposite of what we've experienced in wrestling, where protect your spot, even if you watch wrestling, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Protect your spot and sacrifice keeping your spot for the sake of making the show worse, but you still have your spot. We don't have that attitude. So when, you know, people on the Hamin side or the Vince Russo side want to help out and contribute and do all that stuff, we're definitely going to give them credit. And we're going to take any kind of help we can to get better. For example, with Poppin' On, I really felt for him last night because he doesn't feel like he's getting the traction or the interaction with the audience for possibly the most, well, I would say the second most popular behind Star Trek, but the most popular, you know, whatever entertainment brand that's been ever created, Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty safe to say that it's profitable. It has legs. It pretty much will last for 100 years from now. People probably still be talking about Star Wars. He needed to probably hopefully hear that, hey, man, having the audience is great, but you need to build these relationships on the other end and the business, because what happens is people, you're seeing it right now with the masks and all the other stuff, people essentially, and we are to some degree too, we have our favorites and we're all sheep to some degree. And you look and you see like, wow, that Star Wars action figure company's work with AFO, they must be good. Now I'm going to,
perception is
nobody's
reality.
Ever going to take the first step. They're always going to be, what's the saying? They're always going to be first to be second.
Right.
So that's what I was telling Poppin' On, like these affiliate relationships, these content relationships, be a virtual host of these watch-alongs with the Comic-Cons or whatever. There's all these different things you can do to provide a one-way communication form of content creation where you get the fulfillment and you don't have to rely on that. And also then companies will see that. Now, when you start making money at stuff and the audience comes, it doesn't feel, I felt that pressure before that, you know, with the YouTube channel, the podcasts that I've been on and other things, I had it to where the audience, and this is nothing against the audience, because you obviously need an audience for the companies to pay attention, but you need to build those relationships to build it into an actual business. We've been doing it on both of our ends and combined for 3 years, and feels like forever, but it's coming along pretty quick. But then the 20 years before that, where we weren't getting anywhere because we didn't come together until 3 years ago, that's what needs to happen.
Well, I wouldn't say a storied career from ECW, WCW, Impact, and WWE ain't nothing, brother. You've done
now let's all right. You set the table on that, to use Vince Russo's term. I said it on the Horseman. I was offering in-person training in a gym while I was still on TV, getting 0 clients. Made no sense whatsoever. I was trying to work on the tech side when I had the T4 show under my real name, trying to build relationships to be like the next Steve Jobs for a company or some kind of marketing guy or the face of something. 0.
It wasn't until you mastered it all on your own.
I started Stevie Richards Fitness as I was a DDP yoga figure, and it's a ready-made crossover thing, the next logical step. At that time, first year of having the first band program, and then the 15-minute, it was Kill to Kill It. Well, it probably shouldn't have been named the Killer Resistance Band workout video, but it's probably not good. One sale in a year, the first year. I wasn't doing anything different. I just had to stick with it. I just had to keep going. And somehow the stars aligned at the right time and things happened, or somebody said something and then the right testimonial came through, and then it just goes. I can't explain it except the fact that time and consistency, no matter what you do. And that's what I was trying to explain to Papadon. You know, if you quit, there's 0% chance you're going to be successful. If you don't quit, you got at least a 50-50 shot, if not better. I know I'm getting a little bit off track, but that's the thing with the effort to do those things. And people like with you, with 2 million downloads, they think the 2 million downloads just came in a month. They showed up and like, oh, you're really doing well. Or now that you have the downloads, or now that I have a little bit of success and all these little things that we're doing, there's people in the business who reach out and be like, oh yeah, I want to get started. Help me with that. And I know for a fact that if the money that I'm making now doesn't come to them within a month, they're going to quit. And that's what's different about us and Papadon. If he doesn't get too hard on himself, if Sal doesn't beat himself up too much, he could be an amazing artist and we could have that children's book. But we all just kind of like beat ourselves up to do that kind of stuff. And it's hard to deal with that. And then you got to watch 5 hours of wrestling. And you really want to kill yourself.
And then you have to go paint a bathroom till midnight. And then you got to fucking not sleep. And then you got to get up and talk more wrestling. But that's the labor of love, baby. That was
a tangent, wasn't it?
Yeah, no. I was going to ask if you wouldn't mind listening to the Impact Attack, because it's a very 20-minute inspirational opening between Man Beast and MSG and myself. I think it was probably one of our best Impact Attacks ever. And if somebody's looking to make that change, then you should definitely listen to that one as well.
But we'll put it out in the universe. This is part of what we're looking at with what we might have as our Patreon.
Yeah.
You and I.
Yes.
I mean, it's going to be watch alongs. It's probably going to be some fitness stuff. It's going to be other things. There's going to be dedicated, I think, tiers to getting these things. But I think what we looked at with the improv class, one-on-one sessions that are limited with you.
Marketing.
Types of, I'm thinking about also stealing, Silvio's thing with the psychology thing. If workers want a half hour to really look at their matches and do whatever.
Sure.
And things like that, I believe, are positive, productive ways, but you can monetize it too. And I think if we finally get it together and figure out the tiers, I know a guy who's great with Patreons, by the way. So,
not his own, apparently. He doesn't do shit on that. So,
well, that's you also looking sometimes at yourself a little too critically. There's always that deep little thing inside yourself who's like, who's going to watch? Who's going to listen? Who's going to pay money?
It's also about me going, I need to block out 2 hours every day for my own individual content. And that is a hard thing for me to do. Especially while the bathroom's going up, but that's what I really am thinking about next steps of like, all right, you're pulling 12-hour days. You're usually pulling 16s. But in that 12, can you realign your workflow to get things done so you have 2 hours to create your own Patreon content, an hour to work out, and an hour to eat. So, and prep. Like, that's how I'm trying to block out my 16s now. And that's right, you guys, that's if you become a master of your own craft, get ready to work 6 days a week, 16 hours a day. But it's going to be all love. Like what Stevie said, that first pebble in the pond, you think there's nothing coming back to you for a year. But time and pressure turns the coal into a diamond. And, that's what it is. You just have to keep going. Keep your fucking head going forward. Look for partnerships. Look for like-minded people. Find your tribe. No doesn't mean no. It means not right now. And also, you might have to work for somebody else's dollar. But the freedom of becoming your own and owning it all, even if it's a lot of different little streams and a lot of lines in the water, boy, once you start reeling in a small fish, a bigger fish, another small fish, and then a really big fish, and then an average, like, you're like, wow, holy shit, this is getting interesting, and there's something here. But you got to go through a lot of rough waters to get there. And not that I'm saying I'm there and I'm comfortable by any means, but I will own that Epstein George Bush Jenga painting. I will have it.
The other part of that too is you get to a point, and both of us aren't at the point, but more than zero and kind of making a living doing exactly what we want, at least getting in the direction of, is an amazing feeling. And then what we do, and I believe, other people out there do it too, you get to a point where how can I be generous with this knowledge that I've gained? How can I be generous and help others?
Mentorship is essential because it came to both of us as well. And once you get to that point, you have to pay it forward because other people are seeing what you're doing and they want to know the secrets, and some just want to hear them and then act like they have the knowledge and not apply it. But there are those who do want to apply and do the work. Now you're the mentor that somebody, I'm the Pai Mei that Rip, that Raymond Kester, that all my improv teachers were, that TJ and Dave were to me, now I am to others. You know what I mean? And that's just what you have to do in this journey. Otherwise, you're a complete selfish, out of touch asshole who fucking probably isn't going to be that successful because that's just not the method, to reap those rewards, in my opinion.
Here's two things. The first one will be kind of wrestling related, and then we'll talk and segue probably begrudgingly into the wrestling stuff. That video I put up for, mainly the title was for the recently released wrestlers of WWE, or the WWE people that got released. But it was really for anybody that, was having trouble at this point, especially with the pandemic and losing their jobs and not feeling in control. Do you know, and it doesn't matter to me because you can look at it one way or the other. I can look at it like not one talent reached out whatsoever. One which we both know very well that could have probably benefited, and we wanted to help. Mm-hmm. Lots of people that had nothing to do with the wrestling business, and some of them didn't even watch wrestling, didn't even know anything about it, saw that video and reached out and asked certain things or said, man, I just needed that because I didn't know all that stuff was out there, or I could start a website or have commerce, or I like to make things, so I'm going to open up an Etsy thing. That was the coolest part there. The other part of that too is when you say no means not yet, or no means, okay, well, we'll just sit back on the hill and watch Rome burn, meaning the Jacob Allman call. And we were kind of buried in certain circles outside of our own, where you guys are just, the funny thing is, you guys are just trying to get jobs. You don't think Bruce was trying to get a job. You don't think Eric Bischoff was trying to get a job. You don't think, you don't think anybody in the world is ever trying to get work for what they're good at and get paid for it. That was the weirdest thing, that straw man argument. But we could have sat back there and go, oh man, we just, whatever. But we knew, we saw enough of it, and we had courage in our convictions. But also that call motivated us to become more creative on our own and do our own thing. And that fuck them right now, because what are they getting? A 1.5, 1.6 after the baseline 3.1 they wanted when they first signed. And it hasn't even been a year that they've been on the air, and they've lost 50% of the audience.
100%, man. We told them, and it's not like we're clairvoyant or Nostradamus to see things coming. The fact that they even took the call reinforces everything that we have been saying.
They replied to Russo 5 minutes after he sent the email out. Yes. 5 minutes, Jacob Allman got back to him.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. And that's just telling of they know what's up, but we're still just being bruise touchers, going, ow, why does this hurt? Ow, why is this hurting me? Stop touching the bruise. Let it heal. And we're the heel right here, but they don't want to listen to us, man. And that's what they get. We try and do good business. It's never, let's get ourselves a job and we'll screw them out of this, that, the other. It's always hat in hand, 2 or 3 peace offerings, and then they turn around and shit in your hands, and you're like, oh, thank you, see you later. And I don't know why they're so blind to the solutions, and they want to just choose the wrong path, thinking that is what it's going to be. What it really is their own fanboy markdom blinds them out completely, bro. It makes them completely blind and deaf, and overtakes any sense of good decision making. And I can't understand that at the highest levels of executive production in network television.
Do you think Jacob Ullman enjoyed the karaoke segment he paid over $900,000 for?
If he would have paid $1.1 million, he probably could have been in it. That would have been good.
That's a good point.
Adam D33 No Agenda Show, 300 bits. Appreciate you guys are right where you need to be. Love all the shows. He says Russo popped me with the Klondike kick on Raw SmackDown. Says Fudge 420. That always makes me laugh. Hey, Andre's in here. I see that Wrestling Redneck, aka Colin Wysong, just checked out because he had to go record Next Level with the man beast, Dr. Ted. So that's a very cool new take on the show. Looking at it from a coaching, developmental perspective. I really like that. You can go at the Mike Mondo on Twitter and, troll him in a positive way, saying, Mikey, we want you over here on HMG, on NXT, baby. Because I'd love to have him on the platform. And I think once you hear his voice and how to put things together, man, there's just so much brilliance there that needs to be tapped into. So do some positive trolling at the Mike Mondo and tell him we want him on the Next Level podcast with Ted the Man Beast and Colin Wysong, guys.
I got a question here in the chat from, what is it? I can't read the name. Stevie, I know Ben came up through RIP. Who did you train with coming up? That's an interesting story because one of the people that trained me in wrestling school was the Sandman. So he taught me how to wrestle. Isn't that some fucking?
How was that? What was that like?
It was it was him. It was Jimmy Giannetti, JT Smith, Larry Winters, Johnny Hotbody. Who else was there? DC Drake came by once in a while. I think the Buddy Rogers came by for one day, like right before he passed away. It was kind of cool back in '91. But the real education I got was from each and every person I've ever worked, whether I have more or less experience than them. But the Ravens, the Tommy Dreamers, Paul Heyman, getting the WWE, just listening to Pat Patterson put together finishes while he was there for the very limited amount of time.
But you're one of the last few journeymen who kind of cut his teeth just a little bit and then getting hired and learning on the road from guys who are experienced, where I'm factory system, you know what I mean? Where it was still the crossover of a little bit of both, but now it's complete factory. But your generation is one of the last that could really just show up at an underground TV and get with guys that do that, and then work. Well, maybe you could do that at AEW, some of the talent I've seen there now. But that's an interesting last days of an era that you got to come through, man, that way. What was a Sandman practice like? What did you guys do? Tackle drop down kendo sticks or what?
No, he was the surfer Sandman back then. But the thing that, I remember when he let me backdrop him, I was only like 2 weeks in, and I was like, holy shit, I didn't know. He just pushed off my shoulder. I didn't even touch him. But looking back at that kind of stuff, like I just remember, I wish I was like that a little bit more now. But I'm not so much not like that. Meaning that when I was in a wrestling locker room, I kind of was smart enough to know, number one, I wasn't very good, and I didn't want to be on TV. I don't know, because my body didn't look good. I knew I was green, even though I wasn't even smart enough to know what green meant. I didn't know what carny was. There's a bunch of stuff I learned basically in ECW along the way, the hard way, watching and kind of being in goofy situations where I looked stupid because I wasn't totally smartened up to a lot of things, which in that era, you're not going to get smartened up for a while. They're going to keep the business from you until they can kind of trust you at certain levels. But when I was on the indies before I went back to ECW after that first match in the Eastern in 92, I would go up to every veteran, because this is when guys were coming from WCW through before they went to WWF or the other way around, or guys were on the indies for a while. So you had the Snookas, you had Paul Diamond, Pat Tanaka, you had Jeff Jarrett came to a few things. There's a lot of guys. The Honky Tonk Man always worked the indies. And then you had the Tom Brandys, other people that were just staples, or they were going to WWF, coming back. I think Cornette was on some stuff. I would go up to a lot of guys and I would ask them for knowledge, or ask them, not, hey, do you know what it takes to get there? But, you did this during your match. Could you tell, I have no idea why. Like, could you explain why you did that, or why you didn't do this, or whatever? Probably 98 times out of 100, they wouldn't even give me the time of day, or they would tell me to go fuck off or whatever. But that one or two times, I got the knowledge I wanted. Terry Taylor is also another guy that at the time wasn't very friendly to me. And he's been responsible for almost, like Russo, every single job I've had in the business. So it's kind of weird how things come around and you don't hold a grudge for that. But I remember the independent wrestlers. This is the funny part. And this plays to a lot of people that might be in small ponds and they have the big fish in the little ponds that act like, I'm sure OVW had it. Like, you're big man on campus, you're the veteran in the locker room and this and that, not knowing there's a whole world out there where you got to start out at the bottom again. I knew that when I was on the indies. I was like, I want to get to one of those companies so I can start out on the bottom as quickly as possible, learn and get better, because I don't know how long this is going to last. But I remember being in the locker room and the guys that are actually still in the indies, if they're even alive, are just treating me like shit, are just browbeating me and acting like big stars because they're going to make their $150 and go out and spend $300, $400, $500 on drugs and beer or whatever, just because they're a big star on the indies and they won their match at the show. And now they're going to go party at the bar. You know the type. I won a fake match. So now I'm a real star. And now I'm going to, and I just would always be shunned. I would always be put down, bullied. And I wasn't a guy that really stood up for himself much anyway, which is perfect in that era of the wrestling business. Just keep your mouth shut and just take it and just fucking go. But even after I got the jobs and everything, those same guys treated me the same exact. You figure they'd be cool and trying to get jobs. They still thought they were bigger stars than me because they would say it. And I would just be like, I'm in the locker room with Undertaker, Triple H, Rocky, Austin, these guys. I'm like, I'm not a fucking star. I go, hopefully I'll get to work with the stars one day. I had perspective for that. So another long tangent on that. But
dude, people love this stuff.
The people that think they're in a company and they were like, this isn't the biggest company in the world. This isn't the place I want to be. And these people are putting you down in these management positions because they got the little bit of power in their little isolated part of nowhere. One thing, show me one thing. That's a big fish in a little pond. The Lagana thing is exactly what I'm talking about. Bully, goes to a place where he can bully people rather than staying in the place where he can empower and create and encourage talent and cultivate it. The things you want to do at improv. You'd step into NXT where all Matt Bloom and sort of Sarah Del Rey and all the politickers there are, I said names because I was down there, are just trying to protect their spot, trying to get the Revival to stooge this guy off because that's how Revival got over with Matt Bloom, by stooging. That's not the way the business should be working, of trying to do the snitch stuff and trying to just be politically aligned. It should be cream rises to the top. And everybody should try to rise each other up. So even NXT, for people saying it's a team atmosphere and this and that, you've always had the element of somebody that's a double agent in that locker room doing the fucking wrestling business. You'd walk down there, or you'd go down there trying to make it better. And all they would hear is the Charlie Brown thing because they're looking at you and they're carving the knives up. I know that you don't care. I don't care at this point either, because the truth is the truth. Your product sucks and you're part of the fucking reason why.
But that's the thing. They want to cut me.
Quit.
They want to cut me, but they're sharpening their swords only to eat themselves. That's the thing. I know what they're doing, but they don't have the goods at the end of the day.
Well, the me 15 years ago just wants to be a team player and a good employee, and I just want to work, save my money up, and like I said, I don't know how long this is going to last. That's a true independent contractor mindset. Got to make today work, and I got to plan for tomorrow because I don't know how long these affiliate sales are going to last. I don't know how long these damn programs are going to, be profitable. We got to make it work.
They're going to be profitable forever, and there's so many people we care about and want to do great things. As you hooking me up with some ECW legends who I may work with, otherwise I'll just good brother give them advice, and if they want to run with it, mazel tov, go fucking kill it. You know what I mean? If you want to partner with us, then by all means, I'm happy to do that as well. And it's not like, God damn, you better or else, And it's the same thing that I want for other people. Like I say, Troll Mondo or whatever, like, because he's one of my best men, friends ever. And I want him over here, but they don't know what it takes to fucking get people ready to even do certain things like the life coaching I've done with Serena to get her ready for the Mae Young Classic even and get her mindset back to that. Then she bodies it and they're going to offer only her, the NXT contract. Now I got to go into fucking life coach mode for that to get them all set up because now we're playing politics and da-da-da-da-da. She gets it and I got to let her go because I know the connection to me is detrimental to some degree, right? Like that's what all my friends who want to get there, I can help get them there. But once they do, it's not like they cut me off. I know why they have to. And not that they were when they were there. I was always tight with Deeb and I always will be. But now they come out of that shit with a cloud and they don't see that now is the time to capitalize. Now is your money. And she's got so much to offer. So does Mike. So does everybody. APOC, to Matt Seidel, to everybody out here who's trying to cut their teeth. But they're babies to wax when it comes to this Patreon, create your own content, da-da-da-da. And like I said, it's kind of like pulling teeth from them. But it's just the process of, man, I wish I didn't waste 3 months. I wish I would have done this then. Well, I tried to tell you, but I can't slow down that much. These are all people who could be outdrawn both of us right now based on coming off of their WWE stuff. If they would just be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, the forest through the trees, like I wish that for everybody, that level of success, but there's only so much of Hamin to chop up to go around every day.
That was part of that video too. It was kind of like, hey, we're willing to help you. And I think I mentioned both of our names in that video, sure. The WWE released one. It's just one of those things, 3 months of, and it's not just sitting there, no offense against him, but Rusev sitting there playing video games, just doing Q&As is not a good way to convert.
Imagine what he could fucking have had if he, day one, even while he was buried, knew the end was near and coming. If he would have taken those 5-6 months and had everything set up for on day 90, the fucking hammer is going to drop with the biggest stooges, stooge reports. And he'd been building content, doing interviews on the sly with Ryback to Cornette to whoever, like having a body of work. Instead, we're fucking, don't call me Rusev on Twitch or you're going to get blocked. And you call me Miro and I'm going to play video games. Like that's pretty much the extent. I just can't believe like how blind they are to their own value, and the only reason they do it is
games, but only right. You can monetize that if you'd like to, but yeah,
they're blind to their own value. And the fact, here's how it goes. The Stooge report goes that Zack Ryder made 13 grand last month off of fucking his toy show on Twitch and some other shit. And people are like, he made that? I'm more over than him. I can do that. And then they think just going on Twitch playing video games is what's going to be. And yeah, they're making money, but that's not doing business. That's not becoming business minded and oriented to become a master of everything you are. That's just glomming onto some shit for a quick fix. You know what I mean?
That's the sad part too. First of all, you're not more over than Zack Ryder because you're both released. So you're equally as over getting out of, you know what I mean? You're on even ground.
Zack Ryder's just a smart businessman who's been doing this for fucking a decade and a half.
He's branded himself long before, yeah.
He knew there was money here, and you're just finding out. That's why I'm saying they're babies on this shit.
Well, him and Brian Myers were smart because they've been partnering with toy companies forever. For all you know, these guys could be major players or CEOs or marketing directors for toy companies moving forward.
Sure.
That's the thing I was talking about, the Papadon. That's the stuff you need to see. Even if you just stand there and you review a Star Wars toy once a week on a YouTube video, it will get traction. That whole thing too, like I took down the video on the Russo channel about the isometrics because I wanted to something that was valuable and information, and Russo puts it over. But that's the thing too, where right, even people who view wrestlers, and maybe that's why people have the Stockholm syndrome or the institutionalized mindset when they get released, that the cloud is there, because the perception too of winning and losing fake wrestling matches or being presented as something that's completely fake, they still can't shake it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just the comparison was just because Edge has won more fake matches than me and gotten a fake push because Pat Patterson loved them and Vince loved them and they paid his they obviously invested in him and he deserves it because he is a talent. But to say Edge knows more about fitness than I do because he's won more fake matches is, I'm gone after that. That's the stuff where I'm sorry, you're not going to get the content now. You're not going to get it.
No,
it'll be on my channel. You can come over there.
Yeah, that's all those people have is those little whatever. They want the contact, and some assholes are going to abuse it and fuck it up for.
It didn't get to me. It just was like, okay, cool. You've now told me you don't want this. That's cool. That's the part of us running Russo's channel objectively. Okay, you've proven all I want to do is get Russo views, engagement, and convert sales. That's all I want. That's all you want, right?
I want to get BBTV views. That's what
I want. Next on the hit list.
Yeah. And you can watch as well when Tony Khan meets Eric Bischoff in AEW Fight for the Fallen preview for the first time. Eric Bischoff and Khan sit down with Conrad mediating for a special 83 weeks edition of Bischoff's podcast. It's, the talk of the net this week. And here we are, dude, Bischoffing, doing the high level politics. I'm sure he backdoored with TNT and they wanted to work with him. They just renewed for 4 years. I guess Tony Khan in this says that fucking AEW's in the red. Like, admits it. And here he is, Khan cheesing that he's meeting Bischoff like it's his first time at a PWG show and Kenny Omega's in the main event. And it's just, yeah, dude. The whole thing, yeah, he's probably walked in, dude, I was at WCW for life, bro. And it just exposes again further, not the fact that he's supposed to be a top level CEO and whatnot. The fact that he got insulted, and Bischoff called him a money mark and that roast and shit, and he got up and walked out. Now the chips are down. I'm sure Bischoff's positioned himself with the network, and this is the pebble in the pond for the marks to set that shit in motion. But the deal's already done, dude. Bischoff's way too coy to not be doing this, and he doesn't have many other options. So obviously this is where he's gonna go, and Tony Khan's gonna Tony Khan.
So I saw that it had happened. I saw it posted on social media. Did it look like he was gaining traction with the idea of consulting or working with?
I didn't
TNT
watch it all,
Tony?
but this is the pebble in the pond for that. If it goes back to TNT and his best friend Bischoff's was the head dude there, and they want to go against Vince, of course, with Bischoff coming out of WWE, that's smart. He knows everything that's going on right there right now. He can use whatever he saw against them, put pressure on Bruce to snap him, and fucking be sitting pretty where he doesn't have to go to shows and he can just be a network consultant from home and do Zoom meetings in the executive boardroom when they need to. But I don't know, man. How many times have we seen that? This is Impact all over again. The product sucks. We tried to get over with our own guys. Some of our own guys are over, but they know there's money in Dixie, so here they come. Here comes Bischoff. Here comes Hogan. Here comes Bubba Ray Dudley. Here come, and Here it is. They refuse to learn from history repeating itself, dude. Of course, this is the exact same move. And how did that work out in Impact?
Well, not very well.
No.
The whole thing with this is I can see how Bischoff's playing this. And also, I'm surprised Paul's not working with AEW. Paul Heyman. I mean, he's not completely gone from WWE, though, right?
He's still Brock's advocate.
Okay, so he's making easy money, and that's fine with that. But with Bischoff, I can see them trying to make what's old new again. I mean, if they did an angle, because Hogan's been publicly banned, can you imagine Bischoff bringing in Hogan publicly? The thing is, though, to have Hogan come in with Bischoff and be kind of a heel at AEW and all these other things that are going on, you know how it works. Once, like when Bruce came into TNA, 2 weeks later, he was Russo's boss. Once these sharks come in and get cons, we talked about this. It's bound to happen. We said probably 6 months to a year, the politickers will start doing whatever.
You think Bischoff's not talking to
vice presidents think they're politickers. They haven't seen anything yet. Bischoff, as much as you might want to think whatever and shutting the phone off at 9 o'clock, he is a smart motherfucker.
Yeah.
Hogan is a smart guy. All these guys they'll bring in. Bubba is a really smart guy. You'll start to see the TV product change into what you saw at Impact.
Yeah. And then all your guys will be gone. All your indie darlings from a Sonny Kiss to whoever will be gone, dude.
I think the EVPs might be. Nobody's immune to this.
Yeah, you could very well be right on there. Some people had pitched Bischoff bringing in NWO now that the Gaijin are all getting kicked out of New Japan. They're not going to have anybody outsiders for a while,
really?
I guess. Yeah, so that broke the other day on Impact Attack. So
Gallows and Anderson are not able to go over there.
I mean, never say never. Who knows? Whatever. I don't know if it's from COVID or the fact of money's not there to be bringing guys in, but there's an opportunity there to bring NWO back versus whatever Four Horsemen thing they want to do. But there and again, that's not all elite new wrestling. We're going back 22 years to do a reboot. Well, Karate Kid's over. Yeah, I guess so. We'll see how you guys fucking do with it and see.
Well, they're not going to write it like Karate Kid because those characters are interesting and they're juxtaposed in different positions.
Yeah.
This is going to be, you know what? I mean, if all that stuff happened, you and I would it's like SmackDown. We'll just sit on the hill and watch it because that's the only stuff that's going to interest us at this point, to see it disintegrate, right?
Yep, pretty much, dude. And once you open that floodgate of once Bischoff's in, what do you think is going to happen? Like, it's going to happen again. This is the story and script these guys play out. They know how to do it. And especially, it's like a chess match. It's like Bobby Fischer playing a fucking first-year chess master. You're sure he's going to make Khan feel great. And Khan needs Bischoff as a wartime consigliere. I believe that too, like what you said.
Yeah, Bischoff. I don't ever want to see anybody out of work, and I take no happiness with that or anything. But yeah, everybody. There's a reason why Bischoff was beating Vince for 86 weeks, 88 weeks, whatever, 83 weeks. There's a reason why. He's a fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? You were talking about wartime concept. He's a guy that there won't be any boundaries giving away finishes of tape shows. If they're taping WWE and you're doing AEW, start going live every Wednesday again and giving away the finishes and saying things like that.
Be easy enough.
It'd be easy enough.
Peyton Royce goes backstage, takes a picture of the sheet, sends it to Sean Spears. Boom, it goes right to the office. Spears gets a push because he's the fucking top stooge. And we know all their shit. Like, that easy, right?
That easy. And I think even the Hogan thing, I think with the biopic, which, by the way, Chris Hemsworth said he's going to be completely natural for. I don't know if I buy that.
Sure,
but,
sure he is.
60 pounds of muscle in 6 months seems doable. I would see WWE wanting to lock down Hogan if they haven't already with that biopic. Or Tony Khan saying, this is mainstream news. If I can get Hogan and this biopic's due out on Netflix in a while, I can build a relationship. Then if the TNT thing goes south, maybe Netflix is another avenue to bring the show. I don't know. These are the things, like, if you're going to ban Hogan because his wife said some stupid shit on Twitter, use it as an angle and bring heel NWO Hogan back. People will watch for a little bit just to see.
I just think they're just coming in to feast on the whale, bro.
Yeah, but that's what you get for it. See, it's the scorpion story. You bring the scorpion bites you while I'm a scorpion. What do you expect? But you have to look and see what kind of walls can I put up, what kind of boundaries, what can I put in the wording of the contract to protect me, meaning Tony Khan, and what can I squeeze out of both of these guys or anybody that comes along. It's a deal with the devil, but this devil. You've seen what they've done. Look at it logically. Don't get off your fucking weekly podcast and start looking at some metrics and doing our shit to try to do the real work.
Absolutely.
I'm banned now. I'm sorry.
2022 Luchasaurus versus Kevin Nash going to be a big fucking pay-per-view.
I think Kevin Nash would draw an 8. Like, hey, dude, if you want to talk about you think I hope I look a 10th as good as Kevin Nash at his age.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, he looks incredible. The problem is Hogan and Nash, as old as they are, and I know you wanted to go to the next thing.
I don't.
Hogan, Nash. Let's look at Scott Hall. Let's look at Page. As even Page isn't 270 anymore. He's not a big guy.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
they all looked like stars compared to the kids they have on the show now. Mm-hmm. All you got to do is stand there. Rusev is, if he goes there, he's going to look like a monster compared to all these kids.
I thought you were talking about thought you were talking about me, baby girl. I'm a monster, cock monster.
Like a double heat for calling it yoga. How's that?
The July 13th edition of Monday Night Raw was watched by an average of 1,561,000 viewers, marking an all-time low for WWE's long-running flagship show. Hour 1, 1,580,000. Hour 2, 1,599,000. Hour 3, 1,504,000. Monday Night Raw was the number 3, 5, and 6 show on cable television for the evening, drawing hourly ratings in the core 18 to 49 of 0.49, 0.48, 0.48 respectively.
Oh, dude, I got it just popped in my mind, and we're probably thinking the same exact thing. Do you know how Bruce and Vince are going to spin this to the USA guy? We didn't lose that many people over the 3 hours.
Oh, we only lost 100,000. We were right in 100,000.
But you lost 300 in hour 1 compared to the previous week. But dude, can't you see them doing that?
Absolutely.
Look, it didn't drop off that much.
Like percentage, the fluctuation percentage after we've got it on there is our lowest ever. Oh wow, that's good. That's a good metric. Cool. Like that's what they're holding on to at this point, bro. We're looking for positive solutions. We know about these problems. Kevin Owens reveals he spoke with management to enforce the masks and fines at WWE tapings. Masks have recently been worn by WWE superstars in the audience, and a lot of that is down to the great work by Kevin Owens. After WWE had increased in positive COVID-19 tests, the company stepped up its precautions for more testing, and fans, quote, all were wearing masks on the outside as they watched live shows. During a recent interview with Sports Illustrated, Kevin Owens reveals he spoke with people in charge to push the masks and the fine system that the company is now operating. He says, quote, it's been brought up. At first, the masks weren't being taken seriously enough, Owens said. Eventually, a fine system was implemented to make sure people took it seriously. That came from me. I thought that the masks weren't being worn seriously enough, so I went and talked to people in charge. They immediately did what they could to remedy the situation. I don't blame anyone for the mask thing. It's super easy to forget how important those masks are. Some people just straight up believe the masks don't make a difference, and that's their belief. But if we're all going to work together and we're all trying to keep each other safe, I think it all matters. If you've had somebody in your family affected the way my family was, it's a lot easier to remember these masks make a huge difference. These masks do make a difference, and I felt it was important for people to take it seriously. I was pleased that the company felt the same way and made sure to get the message out to everybody that this is a big deal. That's why, in the end, I decided to come back. I feel comfortable going back to work, and I feel safe as I can be there. What do you think about that? An eye for an eye. Yeah, dude. How about that graphic in the Horseman the other day about the mask? What was that, bro? Fucking. Let me scroll back to that.
You mean the mask that I sent about what it really causes?
What happens when you wear a face mask? This graphic right here, if you can see, infidels. Decreases oxygen, leading to hypoxia. Increases CO2, leading to hypercapnia and respiratory acidosis. It increases sympathetic fight or flight responses, which causes increases in cortisol, which will make you a fat bastard like me. Increases your blood pressure. Suppresses immune system, increasing susceptibility for infection. And those with a respiratory or heart condition have an increased susceptibility for developing the threatening condition, from Ashton Joyce, NMD.
What a doctor. What do they know?
What the fuck do they know about anything? But stooge and fines. If it's going to make you psychologically comfortable to come back and do phony matches, then by all means, everybody should have these on.
I feel like I actually do have a right to say something about this part of it, because my mother died this year. My mother died, and from all that I know, because my family, they must have been wrestlers too, because they kayfabe me on everything. They're super secretive. But I lost a family member, my mother, and they deemed it as COVID. The death certificate supposedly said COVID. So much like Kevin Owens' mother-in-law, I believe, or whatever family member, my mom was living with COPD for 5-6 years. My mom did not take care of herself. She was on an oxygen machine. My mom still smoked. My mom got COPD probably from smoking a lot. Never left the house. Never got fresh air. Never got vitamin D. Never exercised. Never did anything like that. Pretty much kind of gave up on life after my little brother died. So it's understandable in a way that,
Sure.
She went way down. So she had COPD for 5 years. Doctor right up until the end. They sent her home for hospice, and she died of COPD. But this death certificate said COVID, from all that I understand. Okay. I mean, you're saying that your family member died from COVID. Your family member dying is the part that's like, man, I'm sorry. That sucks. That's crazy. He went to a cabin in Tennessee, from what I understand. I understand protecting your family. That's cool. Better safe than sorry. The whole thing is, there's a statistic that came out. You know how many people have died from the regular flu, where it was tens of thousands every year up until 2020?
65,000 on average, I believe.
What do you think this year? How many people died from the flu? Influenza?
The flu this year? I don't know. How many?
0. Everybody died from COVID.
I thought we just
you know how much the cancer deaths are down? Cancer deaths are way down. Heart disease, all that stuff is way down because everybody gets paid an average. I heard the stat was before, like $4,000 the hospital gets paid for some, but if it's COVID, you get $13,000 per fatality, per patient. It's kind of a little off topic, but the 1-to-1 ratio of losing a family member and have it deemed as COVID, I understand his reaction to it. I would bring I want to bring my family to the mountains tomorrow because of everything but coronavirus, because all the bullshit going on. But this reaction here and what you want to do, don't you think having the people in the building near each other to begin with, masks or no masks with a virus, is a bad idea? Shouldn't they go back to empty arenas? What do you think about sweating on each other? Isn't that 10 times more dangerous? Actually contact and spit and saliva and sweat, possibly blood, blood transfer and all that stuff. Don't you think those things are a lot more dangerous? And by the way, I see lots of fat fucks with masks on that look very unhealthy. And these people are putting the mask in their pocket, leaving the mask on the passenger seat of their car. You're wearing the same mask for 3 months. It's dirtier than underwear you don't wash. I mean, it's crazy. It's not an N95 mask. A bandana is not an N95 mask. And when somebody wears a mask during surgery, that is to prevent you from like spit, other things as you're doing surgery on the patient, right? It's not to prevent the patient from getting you infected.
Right.
Okay. Is anything I'm saying and making sense or getting through to like this whole thing? See something, say something, the snitch society coming around. You shouldn't even have the people. You're putting the kids in danger just by being in the crowd near each other. What's plexiglass and face masks going to do when you make them stand for 12 hours and they're sweating their ass off in Florida and that's getting transferred?
Keep fucking talking. You're up to about 6,500 in fines. Keep going.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just clocking them up here. I got to send Owens a message.
And this is the thing too.
Those are your residuals for like the next 6 years.
That's okay. He can find. He can be mad at me all he wants, but I prefaced it with I experienced the same thing, and sure. I'm not saying that the masks aren't something you should, but you got to look at the bigger picture. The masks are a small part. You need to go to management and tell them get all these kids out of here. Go back to empty. Are you that much? Is everybody that much of a mark that the crowd noise, that the risk of getting COVID is fine because now we have noise so we can wrestle more comfortably? I mean,
crowd noise is
one of the both ways.
Crowd noise is one of the biggest ways to scare off COVID. It's very terrified of crowd noise.
Oh, and protests.
Yes, right? Yes. And we're talking about protests, and there was some protest online from Cody this week, backing up Sonny Kiss as he thanks fans for the support following anti-LGBTQ comments. Sonny took to Twitter to thank the fans, and Cody had put him over and telling the fans can kiss his ass if they have a problem with it. Sonny says, "Thank you to everyone for the overwhelming amount of support. It truly means a lot to me. It's been incredibly open and comfortable with who I am since I was practically a baby. You can't shame someone who's unabashed. LGBTQ plus community and allies, I completely stand with you guys in making wrestling a more positive and comfortable escape for everyone. That's something we should all strive for. So once again, I say thank you." I'll close with this. "Sadly, I imagine the people on social media who spew hatred are often feeling more pain and sadness than what they're inflicting on others. I won't speak for everyone, and I will continue to respect everyone's responses that come naturally to them. We're human. We have emotions. For me, I try my best not to counter hate with hate, but rather with confidence. An eye for an eye. Well, you know the rest. That popped me. To the LGBTQ community, this Wednesday, it's on. This is not only for me, but for us. I'm going into this match feeling better than ever." And worked Cody in the opener for the TNA title. It was an interesting and strange match because timing was a little off. They kept putting over, but Cody goes over. Sonny did a good job bumps-wise and whatnot, but Sonny is indie and doesn't know how to work for TV, and it really comes through a lot, and not just in this match, but in this show with other people too. I felt kind of bad because Cody get him in a whatever gimmick on the ground and had to like turn him the whole way on the ground to get him to hard cam and things like that. So I'm like, and then afterwards, after a hard fought match, they do the SJW thing where it's baby, but then Cody pulls him in and is like giving him the big whisper, the like 20-second, "You're over. You've always got a job here. No one will ever fuck with you. We're going to make sure this is a safe spot for everybody," to like, just like really on the sell of it in the ring where there's like something's going on where they're talking for real and letting them know how much he appreciates them. Like just the big SJW driver for their fucking, soy boy audience, bro. And instead of just being like, androgynous gay man whose ass you're looking at had a good match with Cody, raise it up, bros, let's go. It was about the competition. Instead, the match is all the lead up to the big hug.
Bros, who are you to assume their gender? Who are you to do that?
Oh yeah, sorry, I can't remember what Sonny Kiss has like a lot of different things in her Twitter. I can't remember, but I do kind of like the way that.
Stop it. You need to be better.
No, like she wants to be called that, something along those lines. Like there's a babe or whatever it is like that. Things that I almost like Sonny Kiss when he pushes the line for his community, but at the same time, he doesn't really fucking go hard to be like crucify anybody if they don't get shit right. You know what I mean? Like I was a little weirded out when I had I wanted to see what the whole act was about at UPW, and I watched a whole match against another transsexual worker who is a UPW in Rochester indie local for a lot of years, a very competent worker. And they did a comedy match. The psychology was awesome. And I want people to be able to turn it off a little bit. Not saying you got to turn down whatever you are, because you obviously say from a young age, unabashed, knew what it was like. But in the locker room, that one chick was there who was the porn chick, Finn Balor, fuck my face and all that shit. And they're just in the back doing like super like as effeminate, queened out type stuff as you can, like marking out to like make a scene without making a scene. And maybe that's just them. I don't know. But like, it just makes it uncomfortable. That's like me being in the locker room going, get out of my locker room, infidels, and doing that when I'm after my match and shit like that, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, can you drop the extreme, feminism, femininity for a little while? I think that's something I have a weird thing where people take their gender and push it so hard that they have to live that gimmick. I can't believe that you walk around doing, oh my God, all the time. Like your reaction is that to everything. I think there's more substance to every human being, but dude, I watched that go down for like an hour. I was just like, okay, that's exhausting. I couldn't fucking keep up with that all day.
Do you think the Bellas are turned up, or you think they're like that all the time?
I think they're like that all the time because they come from, and that's why I had to think about that. Well, they're turned up when they're on camera, but like they just have to live that shallow, what's the hot word? What's fetch? You know what I mean? Whatever that was. You remember that from, what was the Alicia Silverstone movie, Clueless? They came up with the word fetch, like the hot word of the week. Like that always stuck out to me in that movie. I thought that was a fucking good commentary on what can ever be the catchword that no one's gonna fucking catch up with, right? But that's where those people lie, the Kardashians, the fucking cast of The Hills, whatever it is, fucking Jersey Shore, where they have to like that. Their 15 minutes of fame is so fast, but now they went from that with just emulating The Hills or whatever it was, Beverly Hills 90210, to let's cash in on the mommy shit, like I'm J-Lo or I'm fucking, a Hollywood star. That's just the shallow part they play for that entertainment crowd that they appeal to, and that's their bread and butter. I can't fault them for that, just like Sonny Kiss. That LGBTQ money you want to talk marketing, is the best money to tap into. Why? They have usually high educations, highest paying jobs, most expendable income because they don't have nuclear families, and they usually have a taste for higher things. So they're going to buy higher priced items. And if you can fucking get your finger in that pocketbook, that's one of the most sought after demographics in marketing, actually. And Sonny Kiss has got it right there if we can find out a brilliant way to monopolize on that. Another Sonny news. Tammy's Sonny Sytch arrested for eluding police, violating restraining order. Hall of Famer Tammy Sytch was arrested Monday for multiple offenses and currently being held in Monmouth County Correctional in New Jersey. Sytch, who is perhaps better known for...
Monmouth.
What is it?
Well, I'm trying to remember from the Monmouth.
Monmouth? I like Monmouth.
I like Monmouth.
Monmouth. Sytch, who is perhaps better known in a wrestling name Sonny, was processed at 4:42 p.m. Eastern Time, according to a report from PW Insider that was bought from Buck. She was charged for driving on a license, suspended for a second time, eluding a police officer, and violating a domestic violence restraining order. follow-up story. Pennsylvania files motion to revoke Tammy Sytch Sonny's parole after her latest arrest earlier this week. You just heard all that. Due to her most recent arrest, the state of Pennsylvania filed a motion to revoke the February 2020 parole of Sytch. According to PW Insider, the state sees her latest arrest as a violation of her existing parole that she had previously been following properly. If the court agree with the state, Sytch could return to Carbon County Correctional Facility to serve out her full sentence. Let's see. Originally being scheduled to be released on March 25th, she was paroled earlier after lawyers petitioned for her release. At the hearing, Sytch had been in jail since February 23rd, 2019, after being arrested at Seaside Heights, New Jersey for DWI, then later transferred to Pennsylvania due to a bench warrant, which was her sixth charge for driving under the influence since 2015. 2012, former WWE star has had a number of legal and personal issues in multiple states, including arrests and probation violations. Sunny days over here at Hamin Media Group on your Friday locker room. Stevie?
I'm trying to break that down because this had nothing to do with drugs or alcohol or any kind of DUI type thing, right? This was just violation of...
Well, it was violation of that and some restraining order. So is she stalking somebody that she was banging and there was a domestic dispute and she just couldn't stay at home?
You try to break it down, Ben.
Break it down. Mm-hmm.
You try to look at this and break everything down to try to figure out like what's going on inside, especially with wrestlers and people in the wrestling business. Could be entertainment as well, but in wrestling we see this behavior of, like you just said before about Zack Ryder and whoever else. I'm more over than him, so I'll make more money. This thing of thinking you're over when you're not really over anymore, and you need to work and you need to get your shit together, and you're not this person that has this latitude to get away with things. It's a very dangerous thing when you're any kind of star or you're given any kind of break because of who you are. It sets a very dangerous precedent. I don't know if she ever got into trouble and got out of it to cause the behavior to increase. You know what I mean? Like she got it's the girl from WWE or the girl was on TV and they kind of let her go and enabled the behavior. But, you know, it's not because she's like destitute or anything. From what you said, that OnlyFans thing, she was making a ton of money.
I heard she made six figures in a month, over 100K.
So you're at a point now where you can actually rebuild your life. If you weren't financially set before, you're getting to a point, no matter what you're doing to get that way, you're still getting financially set to be able to be, okay, I've got breathing room and I'm out on parole. I'm not supposed to go out anyway because essentially everybody's on lockdown one way or another. But you're still managing to do these things. And now, does she have any chance of getting paroled, or has she got to serve out what's the full sentence?
If you're off parole and they yank you that way, there's no way you're getting out. You're going to do your full fucking time.
But what's the full time?
I don't know. 5 to 7.
So she served almost a year. She got out early because of parole, and now she's going back in. And
probably will do
unless they release prisoners for COVID, she has no chance of getting out.
Probably will do 3 years.
And she's still in her mind might think she's the...
Unless you take that OnlyFans money. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, even with all this going on, did you try to think about what rock bottom is? And I'm not a person that's ever done drugs. I drink very little. I don't do any of these things to start to get this behavior where I need to hit rock bottom in any way. But you have to think, for this girl, what's rock bottom? Wouldn't you think the first time when you're serving almost a year, if before all the other stuff, she was in jail before the multiple DUIs, the other things, not being used anymore, not being able to make money. What's rock bottom?
I mean, for her, it never really comes because she can get out and be salacious as a car crash, go home, plug the fucking magic wand in, get on OnlyFans and fucking crush her clit for an hour and fucking make $50,000 fucking dollars, bro. Like, that's the fucked up part of it, of What sells? Sex sells. What's the biggest fucking website on the internet? Pornhub. Fucking, she's in the cut where she needs to be. Dude, if Paige could hold it together, she could take that fucking money. It's just like, we want to do salacious sex stuff, but we're embarrassed to go from being mainstream people. But then when our sex tape leaks, we'll still get on Twitch and our bra to fucking play whatever. Meanwhile, Sonny and China go to rock bottom, which is, okay, we're sex workers now, but it makes a fuck ton of money and they still make bad decisions because they're on whatever drug to supplement daddy issues, sex addiction
or just to
issues.
get through the fact that what the drugs that will just get you through the fact, just like performing in the ring. If people need a drug for that, this disconnects you, so I can do it, and I'm not me at this point.
Now put $100,000 behind that to reinforce that you're doing the right fucking thing, and what could possibly go wrong now?
The whole thing is she still probably thinks that she's over. There's still, and you just said she can get out or somehow monetize it. And
how long until this fucked up society, it becomes like Black Swan or Black Mirror, and we have onlyfelons.com, and she's in there fucking doing girl on girl in a live stream, and the fucking jail's making $500,000 a month on fucking Orange is the New Black lesbian porn. We're not that far away.
You got your little Bill Clinton imitation going there for a second.
We're not that far away. I'd fucking tune into that. I'll identify as a woman just to get in that jail. I don't understand.
You said we know the Bischoff Hogan thing with AEW. This pattern is even more than it. This pattern has been going on since entertainment has been a thing. The pro sports athletes spending all their money and going broke. Hey, when's the cycle going to be broken with this kind of behavior?
Never.
I don't want to see her go to jail for.
There's no. Here's what's going to happen. Either it's going to be an end like China, or she's going to be one of those chicks that you can't. It's going to be a Jake Roberts. You can't fucking. She could be doing lines of rat poison and double penetration scene, and she's still going to fucking live to be 90 years old.
I can see as a worker, the next natural thing would be to come down here to Atlanta and go with Paige and do the redemption story.
Why not?
That's what they all did. They did. Others have tried, but that's also a balancing act of he's trying to get over on you, you're trying to get over on him, like the boys would do, and that's why it hardly ever works.
That'd be an interesting class to take. Downward doggy style. Chris Jericho reveals he loved working with Ryback, reveals original WrestleMania plans with him. Says there was a time when Ryback was so popular that I suggested he should be the guy that beats The Undertaker. He's the one, and it didn't go that way. And sometimes there's complaints about his work. I loved working with Ryback. I did a bunch of house shows with him in Calgary. We had great matches. So really, really a big fan of Ryback. Here you go. Here's Jericho politicking 101, man. This is how he puts stuff out there as a worker. Ryback should be in AEW, and Jericho's endorsement right here is probably enough to make it happen. He says, I think Ryback's great. I think he was a huge star in that kind of buried by politics for whatever reason. And there was actually, when I came back to it, WWE, the year I worked with Fandango, I was originally supposed to work with Ryback. That's what we had kind of worked out at the time. And for whatever reason, Ryback didn't happen. Vince changed his mind as he is won't do, like I said, won't to do, I don't know, when he wants to do. And they changed it to Fandango. Cultaholic, your spelling sucks. So, yeah, dude, I think Ryback's just been buying his time, and now we got Brian Cage in there, and if Jericho wants to work with him, that's him just sending the message loud and clear through the sheets. I think they'd be great together, too. But, dude, they brought in Archer. They brought in Brody. They brought in Brian Cage. Archer loses in the tournament, first pay-per-view loss, buried. Now he's going 50-50 with Joey Janela, has no heat.
Really?
Yep. They fucking had Brody come in to save the Dark Order thing instead of being the Bruiser Brody next generation that he should have been. And he's doing the Vince impersonation, and he's got to have the good matches that he can, and now getting Colt Cabana over in a storyline instead of just shining like everybody wanted him to out of the gate where he's been held back. Now he's triple tied down once again. Brian Cage comes in after surgery. They put him with Taz. I'm with it. They make him fucking squash people. I'm with it. He gets a match to fucking go against Moxley last night. Moxley cuts a good promo putting over his arm surgery and that his only focus is to work heat and rip the bicep off. They tell somewhat of a good story. I'll get into it on Light the Fuse later with Silvio and MSG. He gets him in the goddamn armbar a bunch of times. Taz throws in the fucking towel on Brian Cage, bro. 3 Megamon, yeah. Because it's his meal ticket. He doesn't want to fucking, we'll fight another day. But then afterwards, Darby Allin comes in, gets heat on Brian Cage with jumping off of the fucking skateboard to the throat. Lights up, lights down. Then Brian Cage is up and like mad, and they take like another 90 seconds where Cage is trying to get in the ring, and they're standing off, and it's we'll see you next week, fans. Da da da.
What does Darby Allin have to do with any of this?
Because he was in the fucking match with the ladders where Cage debuted, and he did that fucking acid drop or whatever, and fucked his ankles up or whatever, and had to take time off. So this is his retribution to come back and be the catalyst to fuck over the finish on Cage and Moxley so they don't pay it off so it can get pushed, and then we'll have that for next week. But 3 fucking monsters versus guys who look like, you know, people who work at your TCBY in the fucking mall, and all 3 of them are now under on what you fucking paid for them. You brought them in, and in their first big time out, almost every time, they've fucking lost to guys who are way lesser.
When they introduced the FTW title, I was like, this is going to be kind of cool, because then Brian Cage can defend that title on the show as Moxley's defending the AEW one, and then you have 6 more months of getting this guy over and maybe having a unification match or something. Why are you introducing a belt without establishing it with title defenses for yourself, whether it's sanctioned or not? But my God, and the Brody Lee thing is just stupid, because when I saw him in the suit doing the Vince thing, I thought, well, you thought, why is this not Bruiser Brody? Why are they not just having them get over matches and beating people in 5 seconds? And I don't know. They're going to put the 3 of them together probably, and then you're going to have all 3 of them get beat at the same time.
Well, and that's what I was saying with Ryback. So Ryback comes in. Jericho, it'll probably get booked by the Masters that Jericho goes over clean on Ryback night 1.
Yeah. And Ryback, I think, is a little more protective of his entire brand with the Phoebe Moore stuff, with what he's doing. I don't know if he'll have somewhat of a creative control with that, or maybe there'll be something put in there where he needs to have these get over matches before Jericho. But I see if they have a pay-per-view every month or a special, 3 weeks of a push and then Jericho. Maybe heat on Jericho for a couple weeks, then the match. That's about it.
Yeah.
I think Jericho bringing Ryback in to be his bodyguard is a better idea. Get Jericho over on commentary without ever wrestling, and have Ryback do all the stuff and beat people up.
I mean, what have they really done with Hager?
That's another thing. What kind of deals are these guys on? We asked this question, it's got to be 10 times now. Are they on full-time deals? Are they on nightly deals? Because if you have Jake Hager coming in for 6 figures and you're using them sporadically, that's not good. If you have Lance Archer come in, which good on him, because especially with Japan, he's not able to wrestle there. He signed a deal. That's good. 6 figures, you're not getting the most out of him. Who's the other guy? Brian Cage is obviously probably under a deal. 6 figures if he gets what he deserves.
Here comes Hawkins and Ryder.
But what are you going to do?
Here comes Rusev.
The Bucks, Dustin and QT, and then you're done. Then you're just another team. No angle.
Who will
now, Hawkins and Ryder are going to be on nightly deals. Dude, I think these guys, more than not, I would love for Tony to open up the books and just say, here's who's under contract, here's who under a nightly deal. What they're doing is, just like that press conference and their mission statement was wide. All the people are going to be paid what they should be paid. We're handing out 6-figure deals. We had heard minimum $125,000 a year. Am I off with any of this?
And
So
also
that's
now,
weird. If
and
that's
now you
true,
have
you are-
Bischoff coming in, which I'm sure Bischoff is probably getting paid by TNT and not Khan. But Bischoff's going to set things up for people to come in and take bites off of Khan, not TNT. When it's Hogan and it's this, that, and the other, and you're already in the red, admitting that you're in the red. So, what's the master plan to A, first get in the black, B, get fans in the audience at what capacity? Because if we go back on the road and we're running shows, it's going to be at a loss if we can only do 50% out of the gate, because they were already only booking a third of the arena and shooting the fucking whole side that wasn't empty and putting people on one side. So if people aren't going to want to come out either, how many people are you going to be able to actually sell tickets to and go try and run a show in Chicago, go try and run a show in, sketchy situation. And now you're bringing in people. Zack Ryder's not going to do any fucking $500 a match per performance thing, especially when he's best friends with Cody. So there's another 6-figure one. So now, remember when Cody made that list of guys he wanted to face back in the day? He's going to make another list of fucking top 10 people who are about to get cut for fucking buddy contracts, bigger stars, legends who need to come in to try and save the show, because otherwise 700,000 views. We need to go through and break down the money like we did on Raw and SmackDown review from the $1 billion of what it actually is. I've heard 40 to 50 million from TNT, and match that at 100 million from Khan. There's 150 million. We're not even through the first year and we're already in the red. They spent 150 million so far.
I'm just interested with this extension deal too. Do you think TNT took?
Well, I'll tell you right now, you can extend your life with Extendivite.
Say it, sing it.
Extend your life with Extendivite. Yeah.
I'm actually still scarred by the Tony Schiavone blue thing. I have so much fucking heat with him. I do. He fucking killed my childhood. I thought Tony Khan, I'm the same person. Tony Schiavone was just this upstanding. I didn't know he was such a heel, such a grizzled, just nasty fucking man. And I will tell him to his face.
So I jumped
my
on
childhood. Hogan did with the steroid trial. The other people who exposed the business. Yeah. Seeing Bruno hug Zbyszko didn't ruin it for me. Tony Schiavone with the blue chew cameo. I will never use cameo in my life.
Fudge 420 nails it. He says Schiavone is wrestling's Bob Saget.
He is. He's I love him, but I hate him. I can't. Here's what I was going to say. TNT, it's an odd move during this time. It's an odd business move for TNT to extend the contract for 4 more years when I thought they were going until 2021 anyway, right? Wasn't it supposed to be a 2-year deal?
Sorry, I'm just in the chat room right here because Darren's saying, plus you got Corgan about to shut down NWA and their whole roster is on Twitter begging to come to AEW. I haven't heard that. Is there a story on that they're thinking about shutting down?
I guess he already lost his $1 million this year.
He said he was ready to lose that much to keep it open or more.
Well,
I haven't heard back shit.
Well, it's in downtown Atlanta, I think, right? Peachtree or something like that. The studio, it's an old studio.
Saying Peachtree in Atlanta, that's like fucking. That could be anywhere. There's 50 million peach trees in Atlanta.
I don't care. I got the Best Buy. I got my home gym. I don't need anything else. I can't even go into those stores anyway without a mask, so I just go to Amazon.
Right on.
What I'm saying is, like, you're in Georgia and Florida are 2 of the states where you can at least run a show. You're not completely shut down, and you're able to have the boys in the crowd or other people making noise. It's hard to say. He could still probably run shows. I just don't know what travel is, what he's trying to do, or if this is just the out that he needed. You
can get the Stooge directly better than I can. Chat room saying Raven is claiming Billings is about to shut it down. He said he heard it came out with it yesterday, so it only takes a text from you.
Sorry, I got a text Raven. He doesn't answer my text. What are you talking about? He's lived 10 minutes for me for the past 5 to 6 years. I haven't even seen him once.
You should just text him, hey, bro, can you get me in with NWA? And then that'll be enough.
Actually, you know what? I'll text him. Want to buy NWA?
That wouldn't be bad. WrestlingNews.co, Raven, I think Billy Corgan is shutting down the NWA from yesterday. Over the last few months, there have been concerns by fans about the future of NWA not having a paying TV deal and the departure of Jim Cornette and Dave Lagana. Exit from the company after.
Oh, if only somebody could replace him, somebody with a beard, but it does an Arab gimmick.
After he was accused of sexual assault has led to more questions on whether the company will ever run shows again. During an interview with Devon Nichols of Hannibal TV, former WWE ECW star Raven says that he has heard Billy Corgan will be shutting down the NWA. Quote, he says, I think Billy's shutting it down from what I hear. Raven said, from the grapevine, I hear that Billy's not opening it back up. He's really disillusioned. Raven worked for Corgan at Resistance Pro, where the Barron brothers took him, and they are friends. So there is some weight behind what Raven said. As of this writing, there's no official statement from Corgan on the future of the NWA.
Got it right here.
But it doesn't look promising, especially with Zicky Dice being granted his release from former NWA TV champ Ricky Starks. Go ahead.
Stupid ad. Go ahead. I got 13 seconds.
No, I mean, that's the first I've heard it, so appreciate the chat room at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman sending that headline over. Try to do good business. Don't need to stooge off what I've done to try and see whatever, but I have had radio silence.
I understand at one point you were booking for Billy Corgan back when he had an independent company, I think based in Chicago. They've recently lost their executive producer due to all these speaking out allegations. Could you see yourself working for Billy Corgan again in the future? They could probably really use a mind like yours, and you live in Atlanta.
Well, I didn't book for Billy before. I worked with him in the office. I was like his assistant, I guess. But yeah, me and Billy get along really well. But I think Billy's shutting it down, from what I hear.
Okay.
So I don't. Plus Billy wants to. The thing is Billy really does the booking. Billy does all the booking as far as at least he did it with the Resistance Pro. He liked me there to have my wrestling mind, so I could say yay or nay to ideas. Like if they make sense, if they don't. But ultimately he was the final say on everything, as he should have been. But I don't know. I don't think I heard the grapevine. I heard that Billy's not opening it back up. He's really disillusioned.
Thank you for watching.
There you go. Him saying he heard it means he's probably talked to Billy. That's
that's Billy was Raven's one of Billy's all-time favorites, dude, and they're that close. That makes more sense. Why is
I made sure to get the first part of that video in there, by the way.
Fucker, that was bad. Radio silence. It makes sense. Gargano responds to a fan saying he's scared to go to the main roster from NXT. He says, H Mood Wrestling says, I love Johnny Gargano. I think he's awesome, but him being scared of the main roster is just stupid. He did literally everything he could on NXT. You're not going to have a successful career if you don't go to the main roster. Gargano sells for it and says, let's talk about being scared, this being scared narrative. I get to work side by side with my wife and guys I've traveled the world for years with. I have a great relationship with everyone in the office. I get to wrestle and help a product I truly believe in. That's my definition of success. My definition would be adding an extra zero every year onto the end of your paycheck.
I think the one show that he did with Ciampa when they went to Raw, I believe, during that whole Survivor Series thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to look at objectively, you have to look around, and they're both talented and they both can get over. But Johnny Gargano is standing in the ring with MVP Lashley, guys with this kind of size. Even if he stood in the ring with a Zack Ryder or a Kurt Hawkins, he's a small dude. He's a small, skinny dude. Like they're talking about Adam Cole, the lack of size Adam Cole has right now. Gargano's even smaller than him. dude, you're over in NXT. You got the deal you need, the extra zeros, whatever. But I think more so what you said last week about Ciampa, if he had said that, I believe in this, I do this, and NXT, I'm making money here. I'm doing well. And I get to go home.
Right.
And I don't want the politics up there. If you give a more honest answer rather than saying like
I'd be lost in the shuffle. There's a lot of great talent up there, and right here, I feel like people know me as a brand face of the brand, and I think there's more value in that. Be honest, instead of again, here we are.
NXT has everything WWE has. OVW didn't have what NXT has. Imagine if OVW had TV money coming in, like real TV money. You guys had merchandise that was sold on WWE shop. Clearance too. I gotta look at that before we're done. But you had the machine producing stuff for your passive income. You had royalties. If OVW had that, I'm sure there's a lot of guys that would never have left OVW.
No. And they just get worked into having to sell collar and elbow with their own promo code, Stevie 5 or whatever. And
that's the one to use.
They get their call, they get their cut, but does it come on time? Is it right like Pro Wrestling Tees where it's put over? No. And is Al smart to compete with Pro Wrestling Tees with his own brand? Absolutely. But none of those guys had their own stores where they were on camera every week going ProWrestlingTees.com/Bin Hamin. Why? Because we got to get this other stuff over. Well, you're not putting money in my pocket. I'm putting money in your pocket, and I'm fucking working for free. And well, my equity has changed now. That's what people don't realize.
You can get the Daniel Bryan Yes Is Back t-shirt for $8.95 on clearance. And or you can get the Daniel Bryan Fight for Your Dreams t-shirt for $10.95. Wow. And I bet you weren't dreaming it would be on clearance. But hey, did you like that? My little radio book. Hey, well, I bet you weren't. Rusev Day shirt, $12.95. So he's more over than Daniel Bryan.
Well, I mean, you might get raised up because right now Rusev has COVID-19, so they might need to raise that price. His father-in-law and mother-in-law, so obviously Lana's parents, are both sick with coronavirus, and is now been learned that Rusev is tested positive for COVID-19. So they teased him for Impact for July 18th, but I don't think that'll be one of the guys who shows up there.
Swinger told me he's flying out. They must be taping stuff now. I don't know if they're taping. If they were smart, they're not taping the pay-per-view last. They used to do that kind of shit. They would tape, like Ring of Honor would tape stuff like things that would happen after the pay-per-view. They would tape before the pay-per-view. So if somebody got a hard way they're there talking about the match, but then they got this big-ass black eye and a scar over their eye. That's, it's just bad. But the Swinger told me that they're out there doing the 3 days in Nashville. So I'm looking at his text here. Let me find it.
Yeah, I don't like what they did with him this week, like where Bay was talking shit, trying to hook up with a girl, and Swinger was around the corner. He didn't know it, and he was listening. And then Swinger works and is like, the office said it's a no-go, Daddy. You got to be out there by yourself in this match. Like, to split up him and Bay, like, I don't know, maybe they got a good way they're going with it, but I don't think it was as good as what they should be doing and how they should be focusing on Swinger in comedy scenes.
Do you think they backed off from that with all the speaking out and the other stuff and the old way to do? Because Swingers, I meant
he mentioned cancel culture in his promo. He had to put it over like in a thing. Cancel culture made us do this, that, or the other. But like they missed on this one with Swinger. They jumped the gun unless there's some reason for it. They had to do it creatively. But Swinger's the best thing on the show. So why would you throw a monkey wrench into a relationship that's working?
I think they should make him world champion. Just to have throw. I mean, you should turn it. I remember that they did that episode of the old school thing. Like, what was it called?
Oh, the throwback, just like Southpaw.
It was Southpaw for Impact, but it was done really well.
It was great, but here's the thing. Not that scoff at your idea. I just go to rip. Belts are for guys who can't get over with character. Swinger don't need no belt. Swinger's bigger than the Impact title right now. I look forward to a Swinger segment far more than I look to any fucking title match.
You got a good point there. I'm just talking about, like, I want the guy to get paid.
Sure.
And obviously, getting that, well, they're marks and everybody's a mark like that. Oh, he's the champ, so we got to pay him. They filed for the payroll protection plan, $150,000 loan. Did we cover that last week, or did that happen between then and now?
Sorry, what was that? The $150,000
Impact filed for the payroll protection.
Payroll protection for $150,000. But that could also be because that's what they need to cover the nut for the Good Brothers, EC3, and whoever else they want to show up, EY.
They got to pay that back, though, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting that a Canadian company can apply for American fucking payroll protection.
Well, let's back up on that, because I don't know if they can. Like I said, I watched a lot of Dave Ramsey, and they talked about the payroll protection plan, and there's certain businesses, if you close up the business, you don't have to pay back the loan.
Ooh, I like that.
But really, if they just say we get $150,000 and at the worst we just sell it, or we just end the company.
Is it worth getting $100,000, then closing Hamin Media, rebranding, reopening under a completely new fucking LLC, then walking off with $100,000
and call it not Hamin Media?
Not Hamin, anything but. That's the Kenny Bolin fucking meat scam. Montez Ford claims he owes Paul Heyman his life. Quote, he's always been there. Montez Ford recently spoke with Inside the Ropes, where he discussed how important Paul Heyman is to his life and what he's done for wrestling. When discussing Heyman, Ford said, I owe Paul Heyman my life. He's always been there since day one. Specifically, the first encounter with Paul Heyman and him gave us, Ford and Dawkins, wealth of knowledge. When we first debuted on Raw, he was the first person that came and found us, talked to us, took us under his wing. He's given us a whole bunch of stuff, been there along the way, given us information and insight. Getting any type of insight from Paul Heyman, you just go with it. I'm privileged to know him and work with him in the time period we did. So that was his statement on that. And a follow-up story, AJ Styles claims Paul Heyman is a bold-faced liar.
What's this? Back up a second.
AJ Styles claims that Paul Heyman is a bold-faced liar. AJ Styles recently made some interesting comments in regards to WWE Executive Director Paul Heyman as in his Mixer video. There's been posted about issues between AJ and Paul online, which were in relation to him joining the WWE SmackDown roster. AJ made the decision to speak out about the situation on Mixer, addressing the rumors where he did end up calling Heyman a bold-faced liar. AJ also teased there will be more information on the situation in the near future, but he is leaving that for Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson to address on their podcast. Quote, said, there are some rumors going around that AJ Styles left Raw to go to SmackDown because he was being bullied. That may be the dumbest thing I've ever heard, Styles said. I mean, I'm a grown man. If there's some bullying going on that upsets me enough to leave Raw and go to SmackDown, I would handle it. And whether I got my tail beat or not, I'd still handle it. I'm a grown man. So I'll just throw that out there. When it came to the rumor that Paul Heyman and being upset with him because he didn't take up for Gallows and Anderson just before they got released, that's not what it was at all, AJ continued. It's not even close. I'll give you a snippet of what me, Gallows, and Anderson already know. Paul Heyman is a liar. Now you know. And I'm sure you've heard all that before. If you go back to his ECW days, you'll hear it. Yeah, he's a bold-faced liar. So that's my take on that. I'll let Gallows and Anderson add to it. Booyah.
Speaking as somebody with a minute amount of experience in this, I would probably lean towards AJ's summation more than the Ford kid.
Yeah, man. The bright lights of it all, the Paul Heyman, the ECW versus the 20-year worker who's been through how many iterations of regime change in Impact. And then whatever it is with Gallows and Anderson, I can't believe Paul Heyman wouldn't want Gallows and Anderson and fucking AJ in a crew together, just thinking about triple threat and things like that, man.
You know why he wouldn't? Because he can't. They're too experienced and they're too smartened up for the Paul Heyman shtick. The NXT kids are in oh my God, Paul Heyman, and he's telling them how in all Gallows and Anderson and AJ are looking at are the results, what your actions are dictating, not the really charismatic words that are coming out of your mouth. But what are you doing with us? Oh, you guys are getting pushed. You're the best. You're the best. Are you calling me a liar? You know what I mean? That's Paul. That's Paul will be able to motivate you. But if you're not getting pushed and you're not getting your contracts and you're not getting this and that, the real stuff real workers are looking at, you're a bald-faced liar. That's what they're going to say.
Yeah, how long till?
Ford and those guys are still in the honeymoon phase of their push.
Yes.
Anything that they're getting, those guys are stars. Those two guys are stars. That one guy, the Montez Ford, I can see him breaking out on his own.
Sure.
But when it comes time to get paid, especially with the current state of the world, and you're not getting your money, are you going to be, well, he's gone now. That's a moot point. But you think you're not going to look at Bruce when Bruce is just another version of Paul with glasses and gray hair. That's all it is.
And guess what? We haven't seen Ford and Dawkins. I don't know if it's because of COVID or since Heyman got canned and Bruce took over.
Oh, by the way, I did talk about the Aleister Black thing that Paul's a big fan of his. Didn't really use him right either. I don't buy that 100%. But the minute that Bruce took over, the Aleister Black thing got squashed, the rub with The Undertaker, all that stuff. Got to be a little more objective and not subjective with these guys. You're not, dare I say it, like you need to have minds like yours and people that are more along the age of these guys to judge the talent and what can get over in the world today.
I dare you to say it.
I think I just did.
Oh, okay. And I'm not even going to click on our last thing where it's just
Is that a good voiceover mic for an eye for an eye?
Yeah, an eye for an eye. Yeah, it is.
An eye for an eye.
That's good. That was good.
See, I'll just take it. I can, you know.
Ojo por ojo, sangre por sangre, blood in, blood out, pop your eye out and throw it in my...
Oh, by the way.
Yeah.
Actually, a really great idea, but they'll never do it. Somebody, I think somebody put it in your group. Dude, if I was going to lose an eye versus eye match and had to wear a fucking eye patch, I would turn into Snake Plissken from Escape from New York. 100%. The outfit, everything, Dude,
wasn't that what Moxley did for a while? Like, wasn't that Moxley's kind of thing, and they effed that over?
Yeah, but Seth has the hair and has the look and could be. I just feel like, dude, you can shoot some really cool, like Broken Universe type.
The whole thing would be
stuff like that.
Escape from WWE, and they won't let him out of his contract. He keeps trying to fucking.
Yeah. Dude, all you have to do is go to one of these major cities. It looks like Escape from New York and film some vignettes.
That easy, man. But we made it, Stevie. We made it through the headlines. Some interesting ones, obviously, with Sonny and everything's going down. I want to take a minute, think about Big Ray Hernandez, obviously one of our super producers here at Hamin Media Group, going under the knife probably right now for surgery for his diverticulitis, and we hope speedy recovery and everything works out, man, that he's feeling 110. And, I'm sure he'll be live tweeting as soon as the anesthetic wears off. Hopefully he does it while he's still half in the bag on there, see what we can get out of him that way. And I guess watching SmackDown will turn your stomach. That's the end of, that's the real lesson in all of this, man. But Ray, we're thinking about you, man, the whole Hamin Media Group, dude. Appreciate everything you do. And Colin, if you need a hand, dude, just drop me a line, man, and we'll fill the spot while Ray recovers. Steve Areno, what do you got going on today, man?
An intestine for an intestine. An intestine for an intestine. That'll be, you think that might not be a match down the line. We're going to go through all the body parts. That's right.
He's going to come out his Slim Good body in that nude suit with the fucking, all the shit painted on him. Do you remember that guy?
Yeah, well, Giant Gonzalez's suit's laying somewhere around. Shaved the hair off it.
Yeah.
We got Stevie Richards Fitness 12 and 16-week resistance band training programs, and also the code is Stevie5 at ForceUSA.com as well as DiamondbackFitness.com. The affiliate sales are starting to go back up on that because of the potential shutdowns. And, dude, you want to talk about Walmart and Sam's Club, you have to wear a mask starting on Monday around here. Wearing a mask as you work out in the gym and then putting the sweaty mask back on the next day to work out in the gym with a
super healthy, right? That's what we're supposed to do. Is that what you're telling us?
No, you might as well do it while you drive too, when nobody's in the car with you.
All right. All right.
That's great.
Should I wear it?
Because your oxygen level being dropped as you're driving and lowering your awareness is always a good thing.
I took mine off the other day in Lowe's and put it on the back of the public toilet just to get some extra germs on there to reimmune myself. That's what I should be doing too, right?
Herd immunity via face mask. But that's why the home gyms are really going up, because there are people smartened up to all this bullshit and they just want to be safe in their own homes and just keep their home gyms clean. And also you'll be empowered, because when they start taking away your ability to stay healthy, to get your vitamin D, to work out, to do all these different things, we're truly all fucked. The mask is the first step in all that. So it's what it is, man. We make the most out of it. But I want to let people know once again, if this shutdown comes back, which it will.
When that shutdown comes back. Yeah.
When. You need to listen to Ben and myself, as we said in the beginning, and there are ways to empower yourself to make some money. Are you going to be able to back the Brinks truck up and make 6 figures right off the bat? No, but you'll be a step closer each day to doing it by putting the work in. And that's why we're considering to do, hopefully, that Patreon where we can spread that knowledge and help people out. And it, obviously it's premium content in a way, but there's people offering courses for $12,000.
Well, you're gonna get
even give it away. Don't even give you the real work.
You're gonna get inspirational. You're gonna get tech. You're gonna get health. You're gonna get marketing. I mean, I was a college professor doing. What you're gonna get is my college courses mixed with the craziness
wrestling bullshit.
That you get here, and where I can not be unabashed worrying about university repercussions. So that I'm excited for all that, man. And I appreciate you pushing the momentum in that direction, because we've been doing a lot of work for everybody that we care about to make sure their sales are, got a lot of air in them. And now it's time, I think, for us to refocus, you and I, and push that there. Not that we're here to just capitalize on our audience, but we got everybody else set up. It's time to do a little home improvement of our own and provide some new product. And I'm excited about that after 2 million, dude. So thank you.
No problem. I think having a standalone course too is something we talked about. We had the podcast book, we have other things, but a standalone course to deliver it, much like we do the resistance band programs. We're doing online courses with Skillshare, and there's all these different avenues for anybody listening or watching. You can do it. You just got to find your niche, find out what you're doing, find out what you like to do, and go with it. There's money to be made. There is money to be made out there.
I like destroying wrestling companies, from 2CW to Crossfire to OVW to WWE. I'm taking them all down, infidels, because that's what we do here, talking shit and getting all the hits in on the Friday Locker Room with Hacker Hamin, Big Stevie Cool. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/BenHamin/Stevie Richards. Support everything we've got going on, infidels. Russo brand, the new Master Shoot Theater's up. There's nothing you can do except laugh, kick back, cut your cable off, and subscribe here at hackerhamin.podbean.com. YOLO!